Welcome, sports fans, to the Triple Option. We've been away for a few weeks, but we're excited about the bowl season coming up. This will be our bowl special video. We'll probably have a few more, but in this one, we're going to really talk about who's deserving of getting that fourth spot and the rest of the playoff. So my name is Mikey Britt, as always. So we've also got Blake Thomason.
How's it going, guys?
And Alex Humble.
I shot 13 for 13 at 24 Hour Fitness in my pickup game, but they rated me the third best player.
All right.
You got a Florida State fan a little bummed out about where his team placed.
Yeah, he's probably scared about that matchup.
I'm never scared about a matchup. Never scared.
All right. So this week we're going to talk about the two teams that got snubbed and the one team that got in. The three of us are going to act as the coaches. I'll be Urban Meyer. Alex will be Gary Patterson. And Mikey Britt is going to be Art Briles. And then we're going to talk about why each of our teams should have got in. As you know, Ohio State was the 4 seed. So I'm going to start off. So our team, we went through a lot of adversity before the season even started. We lost our Heisman candidate, Braxton Miller, to injury. J.T. Barrett came in. He won at Navy to start the season on the road. His first home game, we struggled. We lost to non-conference Virginia Tech.
How did Virginia Tech do this year? Just I need a refresher.
Well, at the time we played Virginia Tech, I think they were undefeated, so they were looking strong.
Then they flamed out to that 6 finish, huh?
Yeah, they rode a little too high after the victory over us. Understandable, but after that, you look at our schedule. We had 4 straight games where we scored at least 50 points. Our defense played lights out. We did have one close game against Penn State. That game shouldn't have been as close, but once it got to overtime, we took care of business. And that's a tough division opponent or conference opponent on the road. And then after that, we were right back on track with another few blowouts. We beat a very good Michigan State team. We almost dropped 50 on them. We had that one easy. Minnesota looks close, but if you guys were watching, it was actually not as close as the final score indicates. We should have had that one too. And then Indiana, Michigan. Michigan, their struggles have been well documented, but Indiana is actually a strong team. They have a really good rushing attack, so that was a tough game for us. But
they're strong, but they didn't win a game in the Big Ten.
I'll
let you finish. I'm just.
Hey, they beat the SEC East Division champion, so they're a strong team.
But so
we
did
beat them
Georgia.
convincingly, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And our offense is just absolutely rolling. Defense playing lights out. All you have to do is ask the Heisman candidate Melvin Gordon, how Ohio State looks. I think we're well deserving of our spot in the playoff. I think Alabama's got to watch out. I've beat Nick Saban before. I'm ready to do it again.
All right, so now that we're done listening to that nonsense, we're number 3 in the second to last ranking, college football playoff committee ranking, going into conference championship weekend. And let me just remind you, our conference doesn't have a championship, so that puts us at an inherent disadvantage.
Wait, I saw a commercial on TV the other day that said you guys have one true champion.
Yeah, because unlike a lot of conferences, cough, the SEC, we play 9 conference games. So we're truly playing every single other team in the conference. And I think our body of work would suggest that we are the strongest team in our conference. We lost by 3 at Baylor when we were up by 21 in the fourth quarter, and most teams would have folded. They would have ended their season, would have packed it up. That would have been it, but not my bunch. We came out, we battled, we destroyed teams week in and week out. The Texas Tech game, we dropped 82. We beat Oklahoma State 42-9. That's a quality team. We shocked Oklahoma early on in the season when Oklahoma was a top 5 team. We battled. We won on the road at West Virginia, a place that Baylor was unable to win at. And let me just remind you, Coach Meyer, we handily beat Minnesota 31-7 early on in the season.
What happened at Kansas?
What happened at Kansas was our boys played a resilient upstart bunch looking for an upset, and we came out with a win. And that's really all you can say about the Kansas game. And I think our final 2 weeks kind of proved the caliber of team that we are. We destroyed Texas in Austin, and then we won 55-3 in our final game against Iowa State. I don't care about the conference championships. We played our schedule, and we proved that we are the true deserving fourth team in the country. And so I'd just like to thank the playoff committee for their just lack of logic, absolute zero logic. Thanks for putting us at number 3 ahead of a 13-0 team. So we should, at that point, be safeguarded because we're ahead of a team who ended up winning their conference. So how are they going to jump over us when we won 55-3? And you stress game control, and you stress domination and style points. Well, guess what? We did that. We beat Kansas State more handily than Baylor did. And that's really all I had to say. We are the true deserving number 14.
So you beat Iowa State 55-3. You gave up some points, but how about beating Wisconsin away from home 59-0? How's that for a game control style points?
Coach Meyer, can I remind you that you guys lost at home 35-21 to a Virginia Tech team that battled to make a bowl and one of the weakest divisions in all the Power 5 conferences in the ACC Coastal?
Yeah, when was that? It was week 2. We have a different quarterback. We're a different team.
Oh, so losses early on in the season, what you're saying, don't matter. So we should have just lost first week to Baylor, then we would have been in, huh?
Yeah, you should have. You should have just played better throughout the year and played better teams. Should have played in a conference championship, but you didn't. You played.
We had the number one
bad
Big
12 team
in the country. So I don't know how we could have played better against our schedule because we do have the highest margin of victory in the country. According to college football strength of schedule rankings, our rankings are in the top 12 in the whole country. Ohio State is in the 20s. Our strength of schedule, according to ESPN, is actually higher than Ohio State's. I'm sorry that our brand is not the Ohio State. If we were Texas or Oklahoma, I guarantee you're the one sitting outside looking in.
Let me ask you this. What happens when you guys go on the road? Other than Texas, who's not a very good team, 34-30 at Kansas, 31-30 at West Virginia, and a loss at Baylor. So when you guys are away from home, what happens there? You guys just can't function as a team, or?
Well, I would just like to say that winning on the road is winning. When you win a game, especially against a formidable conference opponent such as West Virginia,
such as Kansas,
Baylor, how tough it is to win in Morgantown. I think Coach Briles will expand on that in just a second. I don't care about how the game looked. We got it done, and that proves resiliency. And unlike other teams in this discussion, your team, we won all our games at home. So I don't think the same can be said for you guys. And we don't make excuses for our loss. You know what? We choked down the stretch. We were throwing the ball. We should have ran the ball, ran the clock, but that's on me. That was my coaching gaffe that cost us that game. But you know what? We came back each week after that loss, and we said we're going to be the best team in the country. And I think the results, they speak for themselves. We won every game after that Baylor game. We played a tough conference schedule, and we took care of business.
All right, let's see what Art Briles has to say.
Well, hey, look, there's a reason I haven't said much to this point, okay? It's because we did it out on the field, okay? Out of the top 6 teams, only 2 of them played, TCU and Baylor. Baylor came out on top. Sure, we did it at home, and we had to come back, but I say that's a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. The following week, the fellas had a tough game out there. It was the week right after we were riding high. Maybe we were a little bit worn out that game. I'll tell you what, though, you give us a month to prepare. No one's gonna stop us coming out to if we're going out to the Rose Bowl.
Wait, Coach, can I just interrupt you? No one's gonna stop you giving a month to prepare. What happened last year against UCF?
Look, this is a new year, man.
Okay, continue.
They got that Bortles guy. Look, we beat Kansas 60-14. you got TCU beat them 34-30. Look, are we going to measure who has the best win here or who has the best loss? I mean, as you can see further in, my good friend Jimbo, they don't even have a loss, and they're getting knocked down. So you can see there's something fishy going on with the with the selection committee. It's just weird. It's just strange to me. We went out and we took care of Kansas State. We took care of them well, and this Michigan State team coming up is going to have a lot of problems with us because we should be playing against a team like Alabama.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your guys' schedules. Neither of you guys really played any top 10 teams except for each other, and Baylor was the one that came out on top. So TCU is kind of out of luck there, and I think that's, they're deserving to be in that 6th spot behind number 5. But I mean, you just look at what we did. I mean, 59-0. You don't even have to look at the rest of the season, just that one game.
Okay, so your most impressive win is against a team that lost to the team who ended up finishing 5th in the SEC West, or are you going to talk about the Michigan State win, Michigan State's most impressive win was a team that only beat Nebraska on the season. They didn't beat anyone else. They weren't able to beat any big-name teams. So really, we don't know the quality of your team. But what we do know is the Big 12 was quality this year. I think everyone would agree in saying the Big 12 is better than the Big 10. We have top to bottom stronger teams who went out and competed this year. I think West Virginia battling Alabama in Week 1 showed that even the middle tier of our conference could probably compete with the top tier in your conference. And that's no slight to you, Coach Meyer. It's just me and Coach Briles. We felt we were slighted because we are not the big name, the Ohio State. I'm sorry we don't have a "the" in front of our name. We're just Texas Christian University, and we beat whoever's on our schedule, besides Baylor.
Look, you want to match up I'm talking in a weird country accent, not even on purpose. Look, TCU beat Oklahoma by 4. We beat them by 34. It's it's just really odd to me. You can people are saying like the eye test, the scoreboard test, like check your eyes and look at that. Blake said, like, Ohio State's dropping 50 on teams. Yeah, we're number 1 in the nation in points scored. We average 48.8 points per game. Like, what more could you ask for? We even take some fourth quarters off.
Yeah, well, let me say that your points per game is a little inflated when you play teams like Northwestern State and Buffalo. I mean, if you just look at our team, look, granted, the Big 12 earlier in the season may have looked like a better conference than the Big 10. The Big 10 may have been a joke in the past years, but this year is different. You look at the top teams in the Big 12, the Oklahoma schools, Texas, those teams are all down. So you two are the only really good teams, and you beat each other, and you struggled against bad teams like Kansas and West Virginia. Meanwhile, we beat multiple top-ranked teams. We beat 9 bowl-eligible teams. We cruise at the end of the season. Doesn't matter who we play. We had our third-string quarterback in, and we won 59-0 in our conference championship game. I guarantee you, it doesn't matter. Our guys on the field. Don't even look at the scores of games. Don't even look at that. This team, we beat them, but then they lost that game. Just the guys that we have on the field would beat either of your teams, and we're going to beat Alabama too.
Okay, let me just interject here. You want to knock our non-conference schedule. Well, we beat one of the top teams in the Big Ten in our non-conference. We beat them handily. And before the second to last week of the season, Minnesota had a chance to play Ohio State in the Big Ten Conference Championship. And quite frankly, in my mind, Minnesota and Wisconsin are about interchangeable. So really what you're saying is your conference is that weak to where you don't even have another top-tier team that you can battle out. At least in our conference, there is us too that we're going to battle out. And then you want to knock our non-conference. Well, we play 3 non-conference games. You guys play 4. So that's going to diminish the value of our non-conference. We play 9 conference games. You guys play 8. So take the Baylor game and add that to our non-conference, and now our non-conference schedule is one of the top in the country.
Well, we have a Michigan State team That's great. And, I'm sure you guys will see. I don't even remember one of you. I think, yeah, Baylor is going to play Michigan State, so you guys can compare how our second best team stacks up to yours. They're just unfortunate that they're in the same division as us. If you look at some of the teams in the SEC West, they're probably better than teams in the SEC East. It's just how it's lined up. But we played Minnesota late in the season. After this team had found themselves, they got their identity. Jerry Kill, credit him. They have a good team. You guys played them second week. They were undecided on positions, and you guys knew you were good.
But let's flip
able to blow them out.
We didn't. We were still finding ourselves as a team. You guys were able to gel and get into a rhythm before playing that Minnesota team. We didn't have that. We didn't have that ability. We had to play them early on in the season. We had to go out and test ourselves. Unlike you guys, who decided to play Navy on the road against triple option, and you struggled, and then you go home to the friendly confines of Buckeye Stadium and get romped by Virginia Tech at home. One more needs to be said. You lost to a middling-in-the-road ACC team, and because of your brand power and your poll in the playoff committee, you got in over two more deserving teams. And I think we should just leave it at that, Coach Meyer.
Okay, well, excuse me, we didn't put ourselves out there against these teams like Samford and SMU or Northwestern State or Buffalo. Sorry that we didn't challenge ourselves. We lost in week 2. It's just like you said. We hadn't had that time to gel yet, and then we lost, sure, but we bounced back. We rolled teams. We've just been unstoppable since.
Look, Baylor and TCU, we'd be in the same division if we had a 12-team conference and we had a conference championship game. I look at it, we would go on to play in that championship game, and I guarantee that we would win. Ohio State plays in a much inferior conference. Yeah, they won their conference game. I'm throwing TCU out of this. It's really just between us and Ohio State, and I like our win way more than your guys' loss that you had against Virginia Tech. I don't care who was there. Virginia Tech season this year was comparable to Texas Tech.
Okay, well, you got to compare apples to apples. If you can't compare your win to our loss. You look at our wins. We have win over top 10 Michigan State, top 15 Wisconsin, top 25 Minnesota. You guys have one squeaker win over a top 10 team. And then, you had a win against top 15 Oklahoma, but we saw how good they really are. They struggled this year. Kansas State, I'll give you that. That was a fairly quality win. It wasn't that impressive, but you guys were able to pull that out. But we played in that 13th game. We put ourselves out there another time, and we beat a quality opponent away from home. If you guys were in the same division and you played a conference champion, that means you would have played a team from up north in the Big 12. So you would have played who? Oklahoma State in the championship game? How impressive is that for a conference title win? It's not.
The number one team in the nation. Wait.
On the contrary, if there was two divisions, there is a chance that we would be in the alternative division to Baylor, given the fact that they are in Waco near Houston and we are up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we could be paired with those Oklahoma schools. And I think, talking to Commissioner, that's kind of the angle that we're looking to take. And unfortunately, we schedule 3 to 5 years out. It's not like we knew scheduling 5 years ago that, oh, hey, Minnesota's not going to be a top 10 team when we play them. We had the expectation that Minnesota was going to be number 1 in the country going into that game.
You can't even keep a straight face saying that. There's no way 5 years ago you thought Minnesota was going to be a quality win. You thought it was an easy bottom Big Ten team. You just said so yourself that you thought the Big Ten was not a good conference. You scheduled the worst team at the time from that conference. You got lucky.
There's no luck involved when you have the talent that my program had this year. And let me just lay it out for you. 11-1. We beat every team on our schedule besides Baylor, and I really count that Baylor game as a win because we had a 99% win probability at one point in the game. So you chalk that up as a win. Undefeated, the one true champion, You want to talk about the one true champion of the Big 12 Conference. That's Texas Christian University. We destroyed Texas Tech and Cliff Kingsbury's nice hair. Bill Snyder got sent to his coffin 10 years after he should have been. We just did what we had to do, and I think you guys just time in and time out, you can just hype up your Big Ten quality opponents who happen to lose every big game they ever play in outside of the conference. So I can't give your wins credence because the teams that you play don't do anything. At least Baylor, Texas Christian, we're going out. We are beating teams like Minnesota in the non-conference.
Okay, at least our teams go out and challenge non-conference opponents. You guys play all these teams. Baylor has literally the worst strength of schedule, 128. Can you even believe there's that many teams in college football? You guys, like last year, Baylor lost to UCF. TCU, you haven't beat anyone good non-conference since you were in the Mountain West. So I don't know what you talk about when you say that you play harder teams than us. All I know is that we're a big-time conference and that we won all of our conference games. We won our conference championship with a third-string quarterback. We played 13 instead of 12, including non-conference teams that aren't FCS. And I'll tell you what, I have championship rings, and we're going to the playoff.
Yeah, you keep talking about non-conference, but what about in-conference? Like, do we really know how good Wisconsin is? They played in the Big Ten. The Big Ten's the worst Power of 5. Anyway, I guarantee Baylor would put up a lot of points against Wisconsin.
Yeah, but would they have shut them out? I guarantee you they would not have shut them out.
I'm going to finish this argument for you, Coach Meyer. Let's just say this. I think everyone can agree the Big 12 is a stronger conference, hence why we were ranked number 3 heading into the final week of the season. And due to some unforeseen political movement in the College Football Playoff Committee of ESPN, the College Football Playoff Committee of 12, we didn't end up in the playoff. And yes, that's unfortunate, but I think if our teams played head-to-head, we would destroy you, as Baylor would as well. And I wish you luck against Alabama, and I hope that after you get embarrassed in that game, you don't decide that for health reasons you need to retire, just like you did a couple years ago at Florida when you started to suck and you realized the writing was on the wall. So for health reasons you had to back out. So I wish you luck, Coach Meyer, in the first inaugural college football playoff, and I hope you guys get embarrassed to show that TCU, after we destroy Ole Miss, was the true deserving number 4 seed.
First of all, that was a legitimate health concern, and I had a family to think about, and I don't appreciate you calling me out on that. Second of all, I think that you guys just have it way wrong. And you were number 3 and the second to last, but like I said earlier on the show, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And you finished 6th. And unfortunately, the playoff is only 4. So that's why you're going to be at home and you're going to play in some bowl that nobody cares about while the Ohio State University builds up its brand again. So next year, when it's a close between us and this low-brand Texas Catholic Christian Protestant University, they're going to pick us. Maybe you should retire and switch to Texas so you can actually make the playoffs.
I'm going to end the show with this. Coach Meyer, Tim Tebow isn't walking through that door. Good luck with Cardale Jones against that Alabama defense. And I'll see you at the retirement home Old Person Center. I'll come give you a visit after you decide that your heart's had too much stress after you get walloped in that game.
Appreciate it. Always fun talking with you guys.
All right, yeah, I think that was productive. All right. Well, all right. Thanks, guys, for watching the Triple Option. We'll probably have a couple more videos coming up here over winter break, over December. And, yeah, thanks for watching.